We had a communication studies class in high school, and I didn't realize this even existed, but we had a TV studio in our high school. That's where it kind of started for me. And then I ran for vice president of my student council just because they were the person that did the morning announcements. And I'm like, oh, I get to like be in front of 2,000 people every single day, my own little radio show. That's where the whole thing began for me. And then when I had to apply to college, I'm like, I don't know, you're 17 years old trying to figure out the rest of your life.
Right.
That communication studies class was pretty fun. We'll just go apply, try to do communication studies. Who knows what that could turn into. I went to school, basically majored in drinking beer and hanging out with my friends.
Okay.
And
so our stories are a lot alike.
Yeah, I mean, wow.
I was a communication major for a year.
Hey, there you go.
I was communications before I went to sports management.
And look where it landed.
And look where it ended. And look where we ended up.
There's this clip on The Simpsons where the guy breaks his leg. He's a soccer player and he breaks his leg. And they're like, you can always fall back on your degree in communications. He's like, I know, it's a joke degree. I'm not saying it's a joke degree, but I had a moment in my senior year, because I had the best time in college, but I had a moment where we were going to graduate at the end of that year, in my senior year, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. The end of this year, we're going to graduate, and then we got to go work.
It gets real.
You know, the rest of our lives. And you don't get to decide if like, I don't feel like going to class today, 10 a.m.'s too early. You got to go work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, no matter what. And in that exact moment, I reached out to every radio station and every TV station in my college town. And I just said, can I come in and volunteer and see how it's done in the real world? And that led to me getting a volunteer position, which led to me getting an internship, which, long story short, ended up me being on TV. The wrestling thing came later. I was always a wrestling fan. Aware of it growing up, the Attitude Era is what like really got me into wrestling. And I was so fortunate to work as an entertainment reporter and TV host, and you're interviewing actors and comedians and celebrities. And I remember I was hosting a show for MTV2 Canada in Vancouver, because I'm from Canada. And WWE was coming to town, and I asked my boss, I said, could we interview a wrestler? And they're like, yeah, sure, we do that all the time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get paid to talk to a wrestler? Like, this is crazy. And it was Bobby Lashley who came through. And I feel like he looks the exact same today.
He does.
As he did back then.
The black don't crack, man.
Bro, it don't.
Bobby he's a freak of nature.
It's insane. That was 17 years ago when I did that. And I just started realizing that if I posted these interviews where, you know, I would talk to wrestlers about, of course, WWE or TNA's in town, but then I would ask questions I genuinely wanted to know the answer to. And I'm like, it sucks that with the way broadcasting works, you're only going to see this if you're tuned into Channel 7 at exactly 4:15 today on this Thursday. I'm like, I'm going to take these interviews and just put them on YouTube. Someone who's a wrestling fan is going to enjoy these. And those started getting some traction. And that's when things really started taking off, is me going, what if I were to go out of my way? You know, and there's an indie promotion in town that's bringing in somebody we've heard of. What if I could go out of my way to get that interview? Or what if I could drive 2 hours to do this interview? What if I could, you know, fly somewhere just because someone said, yes, I'll do an interview? That's when things really started taking off. But I've always loved wrestling. I wanted to be a wrestler. I was a backyard wrestler, Mark.
Hey, brother, we all get our starts. Hey, backyard wrestling. I got my start in backyard wrestling.
Did?
Yeah, and it was. I looked like Andre the Giant compared to the guys I was in the ring with. You know, they were all guys that were never gonna go anywhere. They would be great in this day and age because there's, you know, I think there is like a smaller, you know, overall there's like a smaller wrestling base, I guess.
Yeah.
But these guys were, and they were teeny tiny, and then there was this me that's, you know, I'm 6 foot, you know, I'm 6'8", 320 pounds, and I just looked like Andre compared to everybody else. And but back then, you just, whenever you got an opportunity to get in the ring, whatever it was.
What was your backyard wrestling name?
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse.
Yeah. And I had a Powerhouse gym T-shirt that I wore. I mean, I was living the gimmick even.
You probably got the shirt for free for joining the gym or something.
No, I didn't get anything free, brother. Back then, they had no clue who I was. I think it was even pink too.
Pink.
Look
at you.
Oh yeah. That was before I, you know, calmed my colors down. But
A simpler palate.
I trained to be a wrestler. I backyard wrestled, and then I trained in Toronto. I wanted to do this bad. And as you know, the Attitude Era was crazy, right? Everybody was a wrestling fan. The cool thing about that time was if you saw someone wearing a wrestling shirt, it like connected people, right? Like I remember walking down the halls of my high school, and you'd see someone wearing an Austin 316 shirt, and you're like, you're a wrestling fan too? Like, did we just become best friends? Like that scene from Step Brothers? And it's just crazy how wrestling's one of those things that unites everybody.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy because the Attitude Era was like the first time in my career, like I would see people that had their wrestling shirts on in public.
Yeah,
like people would wear their wrestling shirts to the shows, or they would have them, but you just didn't see them like a concert shirt or whatever else. But man, during the Attitude Era, there was all you saw was Austin 316. It was, and then obviously Rock, and then everybody came along. But it was, you're right. It was those shirts that.
Yeah. What's your most popular shirt?
Dead Man Inc.
Yeah. Pretty great.
I saw one at Raw in Savannah when they came a couple weeks ago.
Dead Man Inc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a guy wearing one of those.
So I started so when I went to the American Badass, I kind of switched things around. I was like, I want something that's cool. But I was thinking the other way. I was like, I want something that people wear outside of, because not everybody, there's a little stigma sometimes about being, a wrestling fan. Not so much anymore, but people, I don't want people to know I'm a wrestling fan or whatnot. But
did y'all have a lot of influence on your shirts?
Oh yeah. You sit down with creative and figure it out, and they'll present you with ideas, and you say, I like that. What if we change this? What if we do that? Kind of a deal. And then there's some people that just say, hey, this is what we got for you. Oh, I like it. Let's go with it.
They're just happy to have a shirt, maybe.
Yeah. And so, but I've just always loved your style. I mean, it's like a legitimate. Unlike this, it's like it's
a real show.
It's a legitimate interview, and you ask different types of questions, and you get to know. I think you find different things out about these talents that, wrestling fans and the internet, they know everything now, but you'd still ask, not impertinent. What kind of word is that?
How many happy dads have you had already?
Well, there was 3 on the way over here.
You were not drinking and driving.
3 in the truck on the way over.
No, I was not. I do not advocate, nor was I drinking and driving.
No.
I was drinking. It just wasn't happy.
Really, anything could be inside of this. Really, anything.
We know what's in there, and
but nobody watching knows what's in there.
Yeah,
nobody knows.
Could be water. Could be something else.
It's a protein drink.
Yeah,
it's first form.
Who knows?
First form hooked us up with a little mix of Happy Dad in there.
I think with podcasting or YouTube, perception's reality. And if it looks like crap, people are going to immediately go, oh, why would I want to watch this thing? You guys have already, you're already doing this right. You've already got a great looking set. You've got great cameras. You've got the best mics you can use. You're already doing a lot of things right.
Well, you should have seen where we started from.
Yeah.
My gym.
With a cell phone.
With a cell phone. Yeah. We used We used an iPhone.
And a camera.
And and then a folding chair, two pay-per-view chairs.
Yeah. Yeah. So
you have the pay-per-view chairs?
Oh yeah.
His gym's lined with them.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, only the ones with me on them.
Yeah, of course.
My favorite was the WrestleMania, him and Brock on the chair. That's the one I always chose.
That was a good one. Yeah, the one I'm like.
When you started doing this, though, was the idea we're just going to do one and see how it goes?
So
that was a big.
He hammerlocked me into doing this. Like I fought him the whole way. What?
You didn't want to be a podcaster or a YouTuber?
No, I'm too far in.
This may be the last episode.
Hey, it could be if you really want to bomb and just. I'll be good for the next 2 days.
Something inappropriate will be good.
The ironic thing is you're number 1 on the charts. I float around number 2 or 3 or something like that. The ironic thing is I'm going to be number 1 because I'm on your show. Well, so thank you. Thank you, guys.
We're okay with that.
We're good with that.
We're good with that. Give me the rub.
Hey, that's the least we can do.